Hello viewers and welcome to another edition of Brave Namibia, where we celebrate both ordinary and extraordinary Namibians. In our first insert today, Irina Marie van der Walt caught up with the author Kavenvangua Kahengua in the capital.
Once a passionate librarian, now a retired wordsmith, Namibian poet Kavenvangua Kahengua, or as he is affectionately known, Mr. KK, made his name with wonderful works such as Dreams, Sharing a Lift, and The Kitchen Girl.
This poem is finger-biting. Like whirlwinds, prices spiral in a vicious circle. Each moment I'm about to pick a loaf of bread, so basic to my life. Like snakes, they bite my fingers. Then my fingers recoil, carrying nothing home. Prices spiraling in a vicious circle. So, when you win in your general culture, when you see this wind spiraling, even geographically, it's a sign that rain will come. But in terms of inflation, prices keep on spiraling. They don't come down. What has happened recently on concerning fuel? Frequently, fuel prices keep on spiraling. So this poem is about inflation. It's about what is occurring in Namibia and other countries. People picketing in UK, in Germany, elsewhere. So it's a poem on inflation. Mm-hmm. Yeah, my former wife appreciated it because some of the people who dramatized The Kitchen Girl were colleagues. And my friend Mukalaki, the one whom we co-authored Kitchen 2, appreciated that. The fact that I write poetry. As I said, I grew up in Botswana. We were not taught our language. Jerero was not taught. They only taught Setswana and English. But you feel left out. So in 2004, I visited the place where I was from, and I observed that our niece, our nephews, other relatives hardly speak Ochiherero, and it affected me. So when I returned to Namibia, I wrote this poem. It is called Woman Breastfeeds. Woman breastfeeds. The baby cries, she rocks her. The baby cries, she lulls her. She vainly breastfeeds her. The baby cries, she kisses her. The baby purses her lips. She says, Didimala, be quiet in Setswana. The baby cries. Grandmother intervenes. Why don't you say, Mina, be quiet in Ochiherero? Are you possessed by foreign spirits? Why do you breastfeed her on a foreign language? Even your milk has turned foreign. Should we mourn the death of our language? Is this the commemoration of the death of our language? She says, Mina, the baby breastfeeds. So the mother to the child is Ochiherero speaking, but she spoke to her in a foreign language, and the child refused to even sing. So in this poem, I created a crisis, which it doesn't happen. I just created a crisis whereby the child refuses to breastfeed when the mother speaks to it in a foreign language. But creating this poem was, I felt I was hurt, deeply hurt. You know, I'm not saying I'm tribalistic or what. Where I grew up in Botswana, I spoke Ochiherero. I spoke a dialect of a San language. I spoke Kalanga language. English and Setswana, I learned them at school. So I grew up in a multicultural society. I do appreciate languages. Of course, before I come to that point, even some of the languages from Namibia were taken by our grandparents to Botswana. For example, when Herero play this game with pebbles, Nama called it Luis, something like that. Owela by Ovambu, or Herero, they say Onyune. They can't, when they play that game, they count in Nama Damara. So, counting up to 10, I learned when I was young. Then in Botswana, because that aspect of language was taken by our grandparents.
In Business 7, you get news on current economic, financial, and business matters in Namibia. The weekly show features interviews with experts and in-depth analysis of burning issues in a way that caters for ordinary Namibians and business connoisseurs alike. We crunch the numbers that matter, decipher statistics that shape Namibian lives, discuss smart money, and explore the impact of global developments locally. Money makes the world go round, so catch us on NTV, oneup2.com, and the Facebook platforms of Namibian Sun, Republikane, Algemeine Zeitung, and Namibia Media Holdings. For news-related or advertising queries, please contact B7 at synergy.com.na.
Next, we head north, where Tunahole Mungoba spoke to the winning female farmer, Ndasilohenda Katangolo-Nakashwa. Ndasilohenda Katangolo-Nakashwa believes there is a means of surviving in the traditional way of life. Living in a village called Omozimboti in the Oshana region, the 37-year-old founded Ndandali Poultry after realizing there is a commercial market in sustainable farming. After walking away with the $5,000 for winning the Female Farmer of the Year through Women in Agriculture, she believes women should not be discouraged to penetrate the male-dominated industry of farming.
My name is Ndasilohenda Katangolo-Nakashwa, is my surname. I'm a 37-year-old woman doing poultry in a communal space, which is a village. So I grew up, born and bred in Ukwaluthi, that's Msati region, and I'm actually come here with marital status. So I'm married to my husband, Jekonia Nakashwa. We have 3 beautiful boys, Natangwe, Yalo, and Tekamosha. So growing up, I'm just like any other village girl, but my inspiration is coming from my grandmother. So I would link poultry passion to her, because relatively in any Oshivambo house you find a chicken, and if you go to visit the family and you did not eat chicken as a visitor, you feel sort of like unwelcomed in a way. So I think my passion, I can draw it back when I grew up with my grandmothers. We feed chicken, and the good thing with the village chicken is that they are scavengers. They can look for their own food, so it's not hard to feed them. School-wise, I schooled in a school called Ongongolwa. That's where I did my grade 0 to grade 3. To grade 3, yes. Then I moved to just a nearby combined school from grade 4 to grade 10. I went to Kendawala combined school. That time it was combined school. I don't know the current status now. And it was purely the curriculum where you just learn about agriculture, mathematics, and all these science subjects. But to be honest, I've been having a thing of agriculture. I was so good with agriculture, and I think I remember one of my agricultural teacher in grade 8 to 10. She's one of those lady who also awakened my liking and my passion for agriculture. And her name is Selma Mpilongo. And yeah, so when I complete my grade 10, I went to the high school at Areko Secondary School. I took science subject, also including agriculture. So I did agriculture up to grade 12. So imagine, so it's one of those things. But at that time, you just learn to pass, because it wasn't a thing of linking what you does on daily basis with agriculture. So you just learn, like, okay, for grade 8, maybe you do plant production, grade 9 or grade 11 you do animal, grade 12 you do human biology, things like that. When we did application for furthering studies, I remember very well my first option to study further was agriculture. In that time we call it Polytech of Namibia, but then I have other institution which I applied to. We stayed in Windhoek for some quiet time, and I remember my husband say, okay, what if we just start small, we buy small chick from other people. I make a small camping tent for you, put a little lamp, then we take care of them for 1 month, then we take it to the north. So we try that out. I think we have so much mortality, like maybe half of our 50 chick, like we buy 50, but I think 20 or 15 died. So the survivor one, we bring them home, and at least we started growing in terms of numbers. So we breed them there in Windhoek, we transport them to the north, bring them, and we find out that the traditional chicken, they become a lot. We started selling to people who want, especially for the weddings, for the other parties like baptism and confirmation. Then we were introduced, as we are networking with people within the poultry industry, then people start to talk about there are chicken which laying eggs and they don't need a cock, or those eggs you are seeing in the shop. So we bought small chick again, and we just raise them ourselves. That's how we come at least with a big number of chicken. The good thing with chicken is they are just animal which you can you breed with less labor, but it's cost in terms of feeding. It's less labor. What you need is just to clean their coop, to clean their feeding and drinkers. Then at least you can give them also medicine. Then off they go, they grow whatever. But at least at the same time, even though you are doing it either on the small scale or large scale, you still need to take care of their health. So you really need to make sure that their space is clean, they have enough water, they also have enough feed. That's how at least I end up having a backyard a coop for my layers, and we also do have some other traditional chickens. And the one which stands out are called black astro, which are now our parent stock, and we incubate them in the incubator machine, hatch them, still breeding them, and do the cycle also of just selling it on a certain stage at a certain price to people here in our community and also people at the nearby town. Agriculture is such a very big space, and it can fit everyone. Why am I saying so? It's simple because you literally you can fit in any puzzle. To say that if you are a producer, someone can do the packaging, someone can do transporting and logistics for you, someone can do marketing and branding for you, things. So we can all fit in agriculture. So the message I have for women out there is that do something with passion. Find your passion, because I could encourage everyone to do agriculture, but maybe they're not passionate about it. But those ones with passion, look for skills, look for mentors, try to do some visit of farms where you can reach, then you can, and look for help. That help could be in terms of technical skills or could be in terms of funding. And there are actually some schemes out there which I can point out. One is from our government. I think one of Minister of Agriculture do provide some scheme for women in farming, where they can either give you a startup or startup of chicken, small chick, or incubator and things like that. Those are things we need to check around. And nowadays we live in the global village where information they are actually on our palm of our hand with all this digital and cell phone. So we are there on social media. Look up, try to check where you can get information. Personally, I'm not having a background of agriculture, but I can give the basic. That's now in animal production like poultry and crop production, and refer a person to where they can get information, especially to Health Vision Dume. So encouraging other women to enter a space of agriculture, because we are already in, let me say that. Finkiwanes, we are in a substance farming. Now we need to look some other avenues. Like if I have to grow mahangu and I only need one grain basket for my family to run through 12 months before the rain starts, what can I do with the surplus? While it's nice, fresh, why don't I sell and get that money, use it to plow again, do the planting or calling people to come and help me. In that way, you can sustain yourself. Yes, I always say really the government is doing something, but now it's up to us, especially the young one. It's up to us. How can we help the government to tap into different spaces? So women being a backbone of household, communities and economy, we can actually do it at any levels in terms of agricultural sector. So I think that's my message purely is for us to tap into our strength and conquer our strength and conquer our weaknesses, and actually do either self-employment or check for how we can do away some food insecurity in our country.
Thank you for tuning in today. If you know of someone you feel should feature on our show, please contact us at brave@nmh.com.na.